Wow! What's up, everybody? It's your boy. We're back. Listen, I'm gonna say this to you guys. We doing part two. I told y'all we were coming back. I, all I'm gonna do is say, from part one of Red Flags, my phone blew up. I mean, it was hot. It was hot. It was hot. It was
It's
hot. Kim, it was hot on your end
it's
too?
still hot. It's
Yeah.
still hot.
Boy, listen, I don't know what we did, but between the especially the second half, when we start talking about church and intimate relationships, man, listen, all I'm gonna do is say we were on the air, my phone just, I was like, what's going on? What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Stanley Doucette. We coming live on Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I have my girl with me, Miss Kim Houston. She is, listen, we doing part two. I can't wait to get to this. I'm getting the commercials out the way early.
Let's go.
Listen, listen, family, even when we were setting up, we just start kind of talking a little bit. And all I'm gonna do is say, boy, we not holding nothing back today. I mean, nothing. Matter of fact, let me just say this. If you got kids that's close around, this may not be the podcast for them today. Let me just say that. This may not be the podcast for them. So listen, let me get these commercials out the way. Follow us on all of the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Thank you guys so much for going to YouTube. My numbers have increased. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But I'm still looking to increase some more on YouTube. So if you guys will do me a favor and go to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette on YouTube and follow me there. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're going to have a lot of fun. The reason I share with you guys a lot on YouTube, because sometimes when you're listening and you go to Let's Talk with StanleyDoucette.com, you hear the audio. But man, YouTube gives you the actual visual. And whoo-wee. Some things we just don't even say. We can't even discuss it. Exactly, Kim, exactly. We be like, did I just say that? Oh my God. Yes, we are doing what we do, family. I want to just shout you out real quick and say, listen, everybody, I don't know, this just dropped in my head. Everybody that has started off 2023 and you guys are doing some tremendous things. And then there's some people that I've got received messages for, they say they're still struggling for whatever reason. I'm gonna continue to pray for you, continue to lift you up and all of those things. Just remember, you are the one. You are the one. I think a few weeks ago, we did a podcast on I See You. We still see you. We haven't left. We still see you. We still love you. Because a lot of times people don't share those things about the love and the passion that we have for people. And that's why we even doing Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette and bringing so many powerful individuals on to share with you because we love you. We see you. We know you're there. This is one of those topics when we start talking about red flags, that there's so many different red flags. I'm not going to talk about mental health red flags today because I want to keep it light. But if you're suffering with something, just go 988 on your phone and get some help. Talk to somebody. Do what you have to do because we still love you. We still love you. It doesn't matter what you did, we still love you. It doesn't matter what happened, we still love you. It doesn't matter who's missing now, we still love you. Remember, you are the goose, the goose that laid the golden egg. We still need you around. So continue to do what you have to do. Get help. Don't be embarrassed because you're talking to somebody, but just get some help and allow God to do what God is going to do. Before we move into our wonderful topic today, Kim, you want to share anything with anybody out there that's going through anything?
Hey, good morning, good
Good
afternoon,
morning.
good evening, good whatever point in the day that you're happening to be catching this. But, if you're listening to this and you're getting this specific side of the message, know that, nothing, number one, is too hard for God, and He has provided resources. I think there's been a lot of misconception that, you know, you don't need to talk to anyone, talk it out. Even if it's with a best friend or somebody that can help you just not be in it alone, because you're not alone. There is somebody that wants to be there for you. Make that connection and do what you have to do to get peace, because peace is priceless.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Listen, talking about red flags, right? Peace, Lord have mercy. Listen, get the kids out the room. Get the kids out the room, baby. Get the kids out the room. Get them out the room. So here's a red flag. Now today we're going to be talking about, we breaking it down because it seemed like everybody had this interest between church and intimate relationships. I mean, the phone just was like, wait, hold on. But I want to talk about relationships first. I want to talk about intimate relationships first, because I believe it's a taboo subject and most people don't really want to tap into that real. They kind of want to glaze over it, right?
Now,
So
you
Kim,
know, start this, we may not be able to talk about anything else in this time frame, right?
I understand. I get it. I get it. I get it.
Because this is a hot topic.
All right.
But then everybody still wants to know. They need insight. They're suffering silently. The people that reached out to me is like, man, thank you. You know, you helped us. You all helped us. And so that is the purpose of why we're here, why we do what we do, the life experiences that we've had. I truly believe it's not for us to be silent, but it's to share it and to help someone else who may be going through the exact same thing, maybe find some peace, maybe get some confirmation, maybe open up the door for some kind of conversation. And so thank you again, Mr. Doucette. You're just amazing, man. And I just appreciate the opportunity to be part of this fabulous podcast.
No, I appreciate you. It's refreshing to have the opposite sex, share their version as well and give us a well balance, so everybody don't think you're trying to beat up on a man or you're trying to beat up on a woman.
Oh, yeah.
No. We're trying to do this thing the big way. So all right, intimate relationships. Ooh wee. Let's start off with weddings.
I think that's where we ended, right? Oh my goodness.
Let's start off with weddings.
All right.
So, you hear older older individuals begin to talk about, somebody getting married in their 20s, 30s, or whatever, and they share, don't prepare for the wedding, prepare for marriage.
That's good.
And you sit there and you be like, yeah, okay. Let me, I got 300 people coming and I got this and I got that and all of those other crazy things that's going on. So Kim, what's a red flag when you're talking about the wedding right itself?
So if there are, red flags leading up to the wedding, you don't need to ignore those. I learned this after the fact, but your spouse is the only family member you have the power to choose. Now, you can't choose your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, Amy, and none of them. But the one family member that you have control over is your spouse.
Ooh, this is good.
Have to make sure that you have really done the homework, the due diligence. You've addressed every red flag, because the problem with red flags, they become problems when you ignore them. Mm-hmm. There are some red flags that I believe if you sit down and have a conversation about it, go in more depth with it, and really be honest. Okay, is this a good fit, or is this something that do I really want to spend the rest of my life in this situation and having these kind of conversations and having to deal with these kind of responses?
Ooh,
I like that when you say prepare for the marriage, that's all of that.
Yes. So okay, hold on, wait.
I'm gonna pause and listen, because you just
yeah. So okay, Kim, You made a statement that I think is probably one of the most profound statements that I've heard in a long time. When you talked about your spouse is the only family member you
Yes.
have the opportunity to select. So make sure you do your due diligence. Wow. So
I wish I
as
would
a
have known that, prior to. I wish I
woo,
had mindset.
it's so much you said in that is so rich. So I remember talking, a friend of mine was sharing with me that she sat down and had a conversation with somebody she was in love with. And I was like, okay, so I thought it was juicy, right? So I'm like, ooh, this gonna be good. This gonna be good. But the
Right.
power behind it is, she said the reason why she's so in love was because she had the opportunity to sit down with him and literally converse and
Mhm.
just converse and talk about the things that she liked. But then here was the power behind it. Also talk to him about the things that gave her concern.
There it is.
Here's the thing though, but doesn't that, well, I know it does, it goes into communication, right? So now, red flag on the play. If using that scenario, she's able to sit down and converse with that person and talk about, this, because I'm sitting in the back like, when I got married, I ain't do none of that. I mean, we had a conversation, but it was nowhere near that. So here
Right.
was the thing, right? So you sitting there and we were talking and we were discussing, you and I, all of these different things. This particular person literally went out and did it, right? But my concern is this, the opposite end. What happens when it's the male or the female that want to sit down and communicate, hey, these are some red flags that
Hmm.
I see. These are some challenges that I see, but the opposite person don't want to receive it. Red flag on the
That,
play.
that's
Red
a
flag on the play.
yes. That's something you need to know. You you need to have your little notebook. Okay, lack of communication. Because if they're doing it on this end, because
Yeah,
usually, when you're talking about getting ready to get married and all this, you trying to do everything right. You
that's right.
trying to you trying to, go that extra mile. So if they're not at this point in the game willing to sit down and have a conversation about this particular area of concern, that's a red flag. You need to pump. Um I would submit to you that you
Uh-oh.
should pump the brakes, and do a little bit more evaluation, because you don't want to get married, have the wedding, and think, okay, now that I got this ring on, everything is going to change. Everything is going to be like it's supposed to be. That's a lie.
That's
That
a
it
lie.
does not happen that way. Whatever they're presenting to you, I believe it was Maya Angelou who said, once somebody show you who they are, believe it.
Believe them. That's right.
Believe it, because at the end of the day, you're talking about a lifelong commitment. And if those concerns that you have, if you're not able to talk it out, get an understanding, and know what to expect in the relationship, you're asking for a little drama, and nobody
A
wants that.
little. Nobody wants drama in that, the communication. Now, I'm going to say this from a guy's perspective, right? I'm going to say this from the guy's perspective.
Come on.
Men, stop being stubborn. For
Hmm.
real, stop being stubborn. For real, stop being stubborn. Now, I understand that all men are not stubborn. I get it. I got it. Take the whatever you want to say. Got it. But a lot of times men are stubborn at some things that you may. I'll give you an example. If we sit down eating lunch, right,
Hmm.
and you say, Stanley, hey, I noticed, I don't know, you got a bump on your nose. I think you need to go check that out, right? Don't be stubborn because your significant other, your wife,
Hmm.
shares with you to go to the doctor because she's concerned about your health and you're not concerned about your own health.
Wow.
Listen, stop being so damn stubborn. Now, I get it. Some things, I get it. But stop being so stubborn. Go ahead, Kim, because I see you about to jump out your chair.
Oh my goodness. When I was married, I made a suggestion about, my ex-husband, he wasn't sleeping well, the snoring and all that. And I said, hey, why don't you go do that sleep study? Because somebody had told me they was having the same issues,
Yes,
right? And
yes.
they are so much better after they did the sleep study and found out what was going on. You would have thought that I told him to go jump off a bridge.
Right.
So when you
Exactly.
that's good information, don't be so stubborn. And I guess on the lady side, maybe, we might need to do it a little bit more lovingly when we make our
That's
suggestions.
right.
Don't just don't be mama. Don't be mama,
That, that's
have
right. Don't be, oh my God. Listen. But all right, since we're gonna talk about let's
wait, help me. Do you need mama or do you need wifey?
well
What
here's now see, red flag on the play. Here we go. You didn't talk about it now.
help me understand?
Listen, listen, listen. Somewhere in the Bible, if I remember correctly, you help me out, Elder, on this. It talked about basically leave your parents and get with your spouse. And
Right.
I know I didn't mess all that up, but leave your folks and get with your wife and your husband so y'all
Right.
can be one, right?
Right.
Let me, and I gotta put this out here. I gotta say it. Men that are mama's boys, your mama is not in the marriage. Let me say that again. Your mama is not in the marriage, right? Women, your daddy is not in the marriage. Here is something that came up with me in my last relationship was powerful, right? It was a learning curve, just what we were talking about. She was bringing in all of her experiences from her parents or from her sisters, and just her aunts told her this and her sister told her that, and her mama said this. Y'all heard this. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. So you got to come home and make sure it's got a hot meal and all that. Listen, in your before you get married and say I do, you need to know, as Kim say, do your homework. You need to know if that person is that codependent, because that's a red flag. That's a red damn flag. If you may not be in that position, but he may be like, I need that, you need to cook me a meal. If that's not who you are, it's a red flag. It's going to cause conflict, I promise you. Go ahead, Kim.
Every single time. Especially if you can't even cook, especially
Ooh.
Have your own career. It's not like back in the day where the woman was sitting at home having babies and raising babies and cooking and cleaning all day.
That's right.
I go to work every single day, and sometimes when I come home, I'm not trying to cook. I might just cut up me a salad and be content with that. All that baking and cooking and all that, I can do it. But we have to also understand that it's a different kind of world. And if you don't take time out to have that specific conversation ahead of time to know what's expected, because if we can talk about the red flags of unmet expectation, unrealistic expectations, because I might have this expectation that I think that my husband should act in this kind of way. And then if you're not fulfilling that, but I haven't even communicated to you, I need this from you, what's going to happen? You're going to have a whole drama. And then if I'm reading all them Harlequin romance books and watching Lifetime and that other network, that all that romance, and then you walk in the door and you just Bubba, you just simple, and I'm looking at you crazy because I expect you to be what I have put in my head from reading these books and watching these movies, and that's not even who you are. Red flag.
It's a red flag. It's a bunch of flags. Today, it's a bunch of flags. Because listen, I believe this conversation is so needed right now because so many people have lied to themselves, right? Now, you're talking about expectations. You're talking about So it goes in the beginning, right? I'm gonna ask this question to everybody, men and women. How desperate are you to be married to fit in? How desperate are you to get married or to be married to fit in? Let me share this. When you see, remember I told you my red flag, and I said, you know, oh, should I get married, God? And I'm at this four-way stop sign with these big old stop signs, just blinking lights. Like, here's your answer. Big lights, big everything. I drove right through the stop sign and got married into misery, right? Just ran into misery. Like, oh, my question. But because, oh, you got the ring, and because I want to be married,
Right.
not that I'm with the right person, but I never even considered some of the things. I'm gonna give you something simple. You're talking about considering things, right? Let's take this, something very small, but can become very aggravating. Toothpaste, right? Just toothpaste. Just toothpaste, right? So you take the toothpaste. Now, I'm a neat fellow with toothpaste. I'm just neat, right? And you put the toothpaste on your toothbrush, you put the tap back on, and you keep it moving, right? I squeeze from the bottom so everything will go up and it's a smooth toothpaste, right? Now yeah. Now they have some people that just grab from the top, and then before you know it, it's all the toothpaste tube is all wrinkled and muddled up, and when I say aggravate the hell out of me, right? Now, with that being said, I believe all of that should be discussed prior to you saying I do. I think all of that. Toothpaste, everything. Here's why I say that. Because if we're talking about a red flag, right? That leads into something else. Because if you're a neat person, now I'm talking about toothpaste, but if you're a neat person, somebody can be neat for a year or 6 months or 2 years. But when you talk about 7 years, that true person is going to come out. All the masks are off. Now you walked into hell and you're like, who in the hell is this? What you say? What you say, Kim? What you say? Talk to me.
I mean, I think it is vitally important that you don't just jump into getting married trying to fit in. I've been down that road, and I ignored, just like you, I ignored the red flags and all of that. And this whole thing with being neat. Okay, so the toothpaste is, I mean, I don't know, Stanley. That I don't know. I'd squeeze mine from the bottom too, but I don't know if I would get that agitated. I might have to say, okay, this is my toothpaste, this your toothpaste. Let's meet in the middle a little bit. I guess that's where that red flag could be dissolved. Now, see, that's the thing about red flags. Once you address it, because some things you're not gonna know till you actually live with this person.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
The drawers in the bathroom, and
wait,
don't like the bed, type of thing. Okay, I tell you what, you keep the bed made up, because that's your thing, and I'll keep the dishes washed. There's got to be a healthy compromise, especially everything else when you connect spiritually and you connect, relational, all these other areas. But these little bitty things, they can turn into big things, like you said. But
they can turn into big things. Yeah.
You got to have that communication. It all goes back to communication. It goes back to communication and expectation.
Okay. All right. Let's dig into expectations, right? To your point, I think it goes into communication. But would you say something, you coming home and you have this whole thing about it's about to get good now. You have this whole expectation about you coming home and you want that romance, right?
Right.
And on your end, you see Bubba sitting on there with his hand in his pants, just kind of sitting there like, hey, how you doing?
What you cooking?
What you cooking, right? You and immediately the expectation is just on 10. You like, oh my God, what was I thinking, right? On the opposite end, the female side, right? You come home and she just thinking around, just kind of like, hey, how you doing? And it's like, okay, the expectation was you were going to cook today, that we would come home, we would have a meal together. You were going to cook, but she's on the phone with her girlfriend. They just came back from shopping and all, right? All of those things. And you want to have a romantic meal with your wife, or on the opposite with your husband, and all of this stuff going on. And now all of a sudden expectations are out the window, right?
Mhm.
So we say it's a red flag, but how do you deal with that? Because I got a question for you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And you know, it's that you bring that up, because I have talked to women who have said, you know, they're married to these country guys. Y'all, I'm in Mississippi, just in case y'all forgot. And and these guys, you know, but that's who they were. They're farmers, you know, they don't do the eating out thing and all that. But here you have these ladies that's like, I wish he would take me out sometime. I wish he would buy me flowers, you know, because somebody at work got flowers or something, you know.
Mhm.
So the way that you handle that, and I know it sounds like a broken record, but we have got to learn how to communicate. And then once we communicate, then we got to remember the mission. You know,
Yeah.
the Bible talks about submission, right? And
Mhm.
basically, people get these walls automatically come up when you start saying submit. But really, when you submit, you're basically coming under the mission. You're making the mission of marriage the most important thing. You're making the mission of this relationship the most important thing. The mission of us staying together, the mission of us being an example for our children. So you come under that. I'm
Mhm.
submitting to the mission. Forget all of this trying to be all prideful and all of that, but I'm gonna
Ooh.
to the mission. And if my wife wants me to take her out to dinner, I'm going to take her out to dinner. If my husband needs me to cook and make him feel special, make him feel, you know, like I put some effort into this thing, then that's what I want to do. Because why? The mission of our marriage is more important than all of this other stuff. You got to put it on the calendar. If you're busy, put it on the calendar, schedule it. We schedule everything else, Stanley. We
Mm.
schedule everything else.
Oh,
Why
oh
not
no.
schedule that time with our significant other so that everybody knows that they have value?
Let me, ooh, girl. I'm about the red flag. I need something to throw. I'm like, on one of them shows, right? I know, right? And I used to see Jennifer Hudson throw her shoe at people, like, stop singing like that and throw her shoe. I'm about to throw something at you. Wait, you talking about scheduling. Hold on. But even that's before you get to scheduling. You said something that was powerful, and I gotta talk about it. I gotta talk about it.
Fill you back in. Come on
Yeah,
back
yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Make that person feel special. Make that person know they're important. Make
Right.
that person know that they're the one. You call it falling under the mission or the institute of marriage, right? And what does that look like? Ooh, Kim, let's
Yes.
talk about it since let's go here. Let's go here. Men, men, men. Stop going to the football game or the basketball game or the baseball game or the sporting event or go and hang out with your boys at the strip club while your wife is at home just wanting some attention from you. Let's go there. Let's go there, right?
Yeah.
Women,
Mm-hmm.
stop going hang out with your girlfriends and go and do shopping trips and all of that stuff, and you don't show attention,
Mm-hmm.
genuine, pure attention to your spouse, to your husband.
Yeah.
We're gonna go there. Let's
Yeah.
let's go there. See, those are red flags for me because you talk about communication, but that also goes to a lack of trust because once you stop communicating, then you get into your own head. Men
Mhm.
get into their own head, women get into their own head. And then all of a sudden,
Jody shows up.
yep, Jody, Jody.
Shows up. Mr. Jody.
You're right.
The
So wait,
mail,
I
the
I got
pool.
one for you. I got one for you.
Huh.
You ready? I got two for you.
What's up?
Intimacy. Let's
Mm.
talk about intimacy. First of all, we said this on the last one. Intimacy is not sex. Let me say that again. Intimacy is not sex.
It's
Men,
so much deeper.
intimacy is not sex. Women, intimacy is not sex.
That's
Red
right.
flag, red flag on the play. Red flag on the play. Just because somebody give you a hug
Mm-hmm.
or give you a kiss, that does not mean y'all about to do it from the back. Now, I told y'all this is not for the kids today. That does not mean y'all about to have missionary style.
Right.
Sometimes the man or the woman just want to be held.
Right.
Come on, Kim. Come on, because I got flag on the flag, I thought.
Listen, I'm so glad you're talking about this because some kind of way we've missed the art of affection.
Uh-oh.
Affection, intimacy. Because I'm like this, if you are affectionate toward me, throughout the day, the little text message or the little call, baby, I was just thinking about you. I didn't want nothing. Okay, cool. Anything you want to do tonight? Oh, you
Yeah.
really? Oh yeah, so we can do XYZ. What you think about that? That ain't my thing, but if that's something you want to do, blah blah blah, and blee blee blee. And the next thing you know, because you have developed that intimacy, that conversation, that you're making me feel special, that we're laughing and we're touching, we're holding hands. You might pinch me here, touch me there.
Yeah.
Hair or something. And the next thing you know, that other part will come. Why? Because you've laid that foundation. And this is on both sides.
That's right.
For women, that affection is very important for us, and that communication is very important for us. And for most men, and Stanley, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but for most men, it's the respect and sex, that's pretty important, for you guys. But when we're all working together and we create this level of intimacy, everybody gets what they want. And
everybody get what they want.
Done to do yet. You ain't even done to do yet. But if you work it right, everybody will get what they.
But I really want to go deeper into that, right? When you start talking about intimacy, because here I think is a misnomer.
Okay.
For a lot of men, right? A lot of men, yes, everybody likes sex. We get that. But there's also a level of men. Now I'm talking about men. I ain't talking about boys. I'm talking about men.
Ooh,
there's also since we going there. But there's a level of a man, right, that really enjoys intimacy. That true, I mean real intimacy. See, that goes back to the beginning, what you talked about, Kim, when you talked about doing your homework and all of those things, because your love language may be totally opposite and it doesn't fit. It's a red flag on the play.
Wow.
There's certain things you expect, both male and females, from the opposite that just may not fit. Right. So you may be expecting, you'll go back to your expectation, somebody to know this, but they avoid this because they don't even know that this is an expectation. It's not even calculating in their brain that this is that, right? So you may be one of those men. Now let's keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck. You may be a man, right? There's a lot of times I like affection. You don't have to have sex, but I want affection. I want intimacy, right? But here's where it gets good, but it has to be pure. It can't be manufactured. It has to be pure. You can't write it down in a book. You can't write it down in a book.
We feel, Stanley, as women, we feel when it's manufactured.
That's right.
If you're trying to be affectionate and rub on my shoulder, if it doesn't come from a genuine place, it's different than just that simple men. Just so you know, we can tell when you are just going through the motions just to try to get where you're trying to go to satisfy this. Well, she say she like to be touched on her arm and she like to be this, that, and the other. We can tell when you just going through the motions of it all. So you're right. You're right, Stanley.
Let me also say this, not just for the man, it's the woman too.
Yeah.
You're just kind of going through, okay, let me go in now. He like his head rubbed, so y'all should see us on YouTube. You know,
You feel it.
and you like, really? This what we doing? Now, let me keep it all the way a buck since we talk about intimacy, right? Let me keep it all the way a buck. I want to talk about sex. I want to talk about sex. Having sex, Kim, take your hand down. We going all the way in.
I don't know if I'm ready.
Listen.
It's been forever. I don't know.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Oh, God. Okay.
Listen, having sex for y'all grown folk, right? Listen, going through the act, you can feel it.
Right.
Listen, you can feel it, male and female, you can feel it. When you become a man, I ain't talking about a boy that just won't have sex. When you become a man and you have all of those wonderful things going on, right? And when you have all of those wonderful things going on and you want that true intimacy, that next level love, that's a man.
Right.
A boy want to just be like, let me stick it in and okay, hey, I'm done. All right, you done? All right. And both people roll over. Let me talk about this from a marriage standpoint. I'm about to be people go listen, y'all might want to just re-listen to this one. If you're not connected, if you're not connected,
come on,
from an intimate standpoint,
come on,
you're not connected from an emotional standpoint. I'm gonna give you all of the smoke today. I'm gonna give it. I wrote my notes. I'm even looking for my notes. But if you're not connected emotionally, if you're not connected experimentally, meaning you like to experiment. I'm not talking about swinging from the ceiling, but it's talking about getting out of routines, right? Being adventurous. But I ain't talking about the crazy foolishness. When you're not connected spiritually, for real.
Come on.
When you're not connected intellectually, when you're not connected, what's the other one? Physically. When you're not connected there, it don't matter what you call yourself doing. Sex is just gonna be literally sex. But for those that, you talking about a red flag on the play, it's nothing worse than having sex and you feel empty after sex. Now go on and put that red flag. It's a flag on the damn play. It is getting hot in here. Go ahead, Kim. I'm sorry.
It is definitely if from a woman's standpoint, and you got to know that there's something wrong. And ladies, if you're not in that place with that man, don't go through the motions of that. Just because it's obvious. And for a man, when you see that there's something off, if you care about her, ask her, right, what's going on? Maybe instead of going into that level of things, maybe you need to stop and have a conversation. What are we doing here? And be honest about it. Because at the end of the day, that if you are absolutely right. If you are not connected, it'd be better to watch paint dry than to have go into having sex. You're not making love. You're just having sex. You're just trying to satisfy this innate thing that we got going on within us. And you leave the situation like, man, that was the worst 2 minutes of my life. I'm sorry.
2 minutes, 35 seconds.
Yeah, because you're right. It usually don't last very long when it's just that. So
it's horrible, right? It's you and then you turn over and you like, what the hell did I do that for? Like I just
why?
Right? But it goes back to communication, like we said at the beginning, right? If we're communicating, how many red flags did we miss leading up to that, right?
Yeah.
But then are we actually connected? I mean, there's so many different things because
we're just going through the motion.
that's
You
all
know,
we're doing.
I know when you come in and you close that door and you go in the restroom for a minute, freshen up or whatever. I know that means, okay, you feeling some kind of way. Let me just go ahead and prepare myself. And, you know, you crawl into bed, we do what we do. And then you go to sleep, I go to sleep, and we still not talking.
Still not talking. Hold on, Kim. Wait a minute. What about when you can write the script?
Yeah. You know what's about to happen. You know, and it's no, you know, cuddling, it's no affection, it's no foreplay. It's like, you know, it's Tuesday night.
Wait, wait. It's Wednesday, is hump day. So for hump day, we just go hump because it's hump day.
Whatever day that's on the schedule, you know, and said, Stanley, a minute ago about the spontaneity, the adventure, the, you know,
yes, that's right.
So mundane and routine to where, you know, when Jody comes around and he's doing all this little extra and he got this little pizzazz about himself, and the next thing you know, the enemy gets in your head and you're like, what you saying, Jody?
Yeah, Jody. But wait, hold on. Real talk. Real talk on that, right?
Yeah.
Real talk. Men and women, even though they don't want to say it, they love real intimacy. But before you can get to real intimacy, Kim, I think it goes at the beginning. How many red flags did we miss? Right. How many red flags did we miss? Like we talked about trust. We talked about whether they have some type of mental challenge, anger issues, or codependency, or just I'll just get into that consistent jealousy, right? So talk about that intimacy part, right? Now, listen, I want to talk this to everybody, men and women. There are or is, whatever the correct language is, that person that's out there that fits you.
Absolutely.
That fits you. This is what I mean when I say fit. Laying on a sofa, right? And when you laying on the sofa, they fit. When most people, you lay on the sofa, you be like, I'm kind of a little bit uncomfortable. It's, you're trying to get, you know what I mean, Kim, you're trying to get together. But that person, there's a person that fits you. There's a person that fits your personality. There's a person that's growing with you. See, last podcast, we talked about growth. And when you start growing, if you don't have these conversations in the beginning, Kim, talk to me, right? Then when you growing and you trying to figure out why those significant other still looking at you like you still in the same space, it's a problem.
Right. It's a problem. You have to have a mindset and a level of intimacy that you all are moving together, because what happens is, and that's why it goes back to knowing who you are. If you have a clue of who you are, you don't need to be out here connecting to nobody else. Because once you start discovering who you are, you might be to marry somebody that don't even fit where God is taking you. Don't even fit at all. Going. So if you don't know who you are, it is not the time to get married. You can date or do whatever, but it's not the time to get married if you're still trying to figure out who am I? Not what you do, but who are you? Who are you?
Who am I? Girl, Lord, I thought we was gonna get past Austin.
I told you once we get started on this, because you know what happened, you grow apart when the two people finally start discovering, I want to speak all across the country. I like people. I'm a motivator, and you got this over here that, well, I don't like that. I don't want to travel. I'm like, I just want to go hunting. And
you talking about go hunting?
I'm growing here and you're growing here, and then you got this big gap. And what happens in that gap? Anything can come in that gap.
Anything. On top of that, this is you said at the beginning, knowing who you are, even at the beginning. Listen, family, stop being, first of all, I just said this to somebody, but get yourself together.
Right.
Work on you. Be the best version of you. If you feel you're not the best version of yourself, go work on you. Go work on you, right? Because now what's happening is we got 50% marrying 50%. That other 50%, we don't know what's going to happen there. You might have an anger issue you need to work on, but instead you went and got married. So now you're bringing volatility into the actual marriage. Why? What are we doing? But hold on, Kim, hold on. Because then you can't create intimacy because you're two totally separate people when you actually get into it, right? But let's go a step beyond that. Talking about jealousy, right? Talk about jealousy. Let's talk about, because people ask this, can you be friends with the opposite sex? Can you have a mentor with the opposite sex? Let me a buck with it. We can say yes, you and I, but everybody don't feel that way. I know some people that have literally said being, what do you call it? Having a mentor from the opposite sex, no, you can't do that. That's impossible. That's absolutely impossible. So you can't do that. And I'm like, well, why? What happened? So go ahead, Kim. I'm sorry. Go talk to the family. Talk to the family, Kim. Talk to the family.
That person that says that, they know who they are. They know what's going on within them, because they have that spirit that, they can't do it because they know how they are with the opposite sex. If we just keep it real,
Say that again. Say that again. Say that again.
They know that inner struggle that they have, getting close and friendly, that it's going to probably lead to, a little flirting here and a little flirting there. And the next thing you know, I'm going to shoot my shot. They know what's going on within them. But when you know who you are, come on, when you know who you are, I know I can be in a room with you and have been in a room with you and absolutely nothing. I mean, the respect that's there. When you have a level of respect for someone and for yourself, certain things you're just not going to do. And when you see it moving in a different direction,
that's right.
Look,
let's keep it.
Let's lay this boundary right here. Let's lay this. I appreciate, all that, and we've been close, and I get it. I feel a little something too, but it might be best if we maybe, we might need to take a little break.
Let me say this, Kim. Right in that, right. That's good for us, and we can mentor and coach and talk to people all across the country. All of that other stuff. That's what we do. But I want to talk about that spouse or that significant other. Why are they jealous? Did you have you ever had any incidents like that before? Like, you have a mentor, you talking to somebody, right, and all of a sudden somebody blow up because they like, oh my God.
Yeah, I experienced that. I wasn't married. I was dating this gentleman, and as I began to move into a different realm, and I had this male mentor. I think our very first meeting. No, the second meeting that I had with him, my guy at that time, I mean, got all kind of ways jealous and want all this reassurance. And I'm like, why do I need to relay a foundation that has already been laid? Man, I am doing what I got to do to make sure that all is well. That I don't, but he didn't hear that. He didn't hear that. He didn't care about that. I said, well, why don't you come and go with me? Let me introduce you to him so you can see who he is, so you can see he's happily married, and this is about business. Well, no, I don't want to be that guy. But you are that guy. You're angry with me right now for something. I don't even know how we got here, because just yesterday we were lovey-dovey. Yesterday. We were reassuring each other about how we felt about one another. And then all of a sudden, because I'm having a private meeting with a man who happens to be established, who actually has a lot of good things going on. And you know, I guess you was feeling some kind of way insecure, because a lot of times jealousy stems from some insecurity.
Not
It,
sometime, most of the time, that's where it
it
comes from.
stems from some past hurt or some past experience that maybe he or she has not yet healed from. And so that's why going back again, those
Then,
expectations
wait,
communicate.
hold on, Kim. Let me say this, right? I gotta say this. My mentor, I remember him sharing this with somebody. He was talking business, and he's making a lot of money, right? Empowering a lot of people, doing a lot of things, and a lot of what is male or females. They talking and doing those things or what have you, mentoring people, doing their thing, making it happen. And there are men that I absolutely hate him. Never met him, never talked to him, never spoke to him, nothing. Absolutely hate him. And it's
Mhm.
like, why are you hating on me, or why are you hating on him? Right?
Mm.
I've experienced that as well.
Yeah.
Right. And let me give you another one. I met with somebody, like sat down with let me meet your husband. Like, I'm not here for you. I'm like, I want to help you, but let me meet your husband. I don't want him to feel some kind of way or any of those things. And let's sit down, let's break bread and all that stuff. How about the husband was there, but he wasn't there. He was like, all right. And later
Whatever.
on, yeah, just like, whatever. He don't impress me. Well, I wasn't there to impress you. I was there to literally, share respect with you and say like, hey, how you doing? Let's talk, let's converse. If you want to go catch a game, you want to go out to eat, we can converse, we can connect, all of that stuff. But no, wasn't there, right? The same thing on the female side. They sit
Mhm.
down and it's like, they're like, what are you doing? Why? I don't think you should be meeting with Kim because of this. Wait. We sitting at the table. What do you mean? Why we can't talk and converse, right?
It's
All of
crazy.
this.
It is crazy. I mean, even in ministry, Stanley,
Yes.
I mentor a lot of women, okay? And this year, well, the latter part of last year that has filtered into this year, I had a lady come to me, one of the ladies that has followed me and been with me a long time, come to me and say, Kim, my husband said that I cannot do this anymore. I was like, what do you mean? He says, I'm following you and not God. I'm like, well, no, I don't, y'all know I don't teach you to follow me. I say follow me as I follow Christ, but because of her, I believe her growth and her awareness, and I don't know what conversations may have been coming out of the things that she was learning and gleaning that may have came back to say, hey, baby, we might need to do this a little differently. Whatever the case may be, she is no longer part of the program because
Wow.
of the spouse, and it's hurt
Wow.
her. It is killing her, that she cannot be part of the things that we do because her life
Wow.
is moving in such a different direction.
Now let's talk about growth real quick, right? You talk about growth. It goes, I know it goes back to the beginning. It goes back to knowing who we're dating or marrying and all of that stuff. When you start growing and you're asking that person to come with you
Some people
and
can't.
come with you, right? Come
Yeah.
with you, come with you, come with you. And all of a sudden, they are not willing to come. Because a lot of times you're just saying, I'm not telling you to be mean. I'm saying to support me, to follow, to be
Right.
with me, to hold tight with me, right? To support my business or to support my ministry or to support whatever. You're not supporting, they're sitting there with their arms folded like,
Yeah. And
and it's
sometimes they think just because their body is in the building that means something, but your attitude is exuding from you.
your
So your
energy is
body
horrible.
stayed at the house.
Your
I'm
energy is horrible. Just like sex, your
off.
energy is horrible. Yeah, it's like sex. Your energy is horrible, right? Your touch is horrible. You cook the food, but you can tell you ain't have nothing in here. You just put something in there and that was it. Your everything is just terrible, right?
Yeah.
What happens now? You with this mentor, right? Male or female, and you're growing, and now you're seeing the happiness. You're seeing some things improve in that person's life, and they're excited to your point, and then all of a sudden the husband say, I don't want you to do that anymore. Or the
Right.
wife say, well, I think you need to spend more time with me. Now all of a sudden, wait, did I do something wrong? No,
Mhm.
I just don't want you to be with Kim anymore, or I don't want you to be with Stanley anymore. Well,
Mhm.
am I growing? Yeah, you growing, but go find somebody else. Wait a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah.
So your husband or your wife is growing, but you don't want them to grow anymore?
Something's wrong there.
Flag on the damn
Flag
play.
play. Yes, absolutely. That's a flag on the play. I remember, when I first got elected to be on the city council here,
Mhm.
I remember at that time, my spouse telling me, I don't want you riding in the car with any men. And he named some Pacific leaders in the city. He
Oh,
named,
wow.
and I was like, why? Is something wrong with them? No. And I said, but you do
Wow.
understand my job that sometimes because of that relationship, I may have to ride to go see the issue. Well, you drive your
Yeah.
car, drive their car. I don't know. Any no closed door meetings. I mean, just outlined a whole bunch of stuff as it relates to men. Now, if it was some ugly person, if it was a man and they didn't have nothing going on, that wasn't no problem. So let me ask you this from a man's perspective: what is the issue with a woman being around a highly successful individual?
That's the point. That
What
right there.
what's
That's
the
the
problem?
point.
Why is that a
The,
problem?
because we are reminding them of what they should be.
Mm.
That's what we're doing. We're reminding them of their lack. We're reminding them of what
It's
they
like
should have been.
face.
Yeah, we're reminding them what they could be. And now that I'll say the wife or the significant, the female now sees that person elevating what is, business and intellectual and can speak well. And now all of a sudden it's a jealousy that's there because that person is reminding them or showing them who they could be, but they elected not to be for whatever reason it is, right? We talk about this a whole bunch of times. You come in town and we came to Meridian. You come to Meridian, then all of a sudden people are jealous of you. Wait a minute, I don't even know you, sir. I don't
Right.
even know you, ma'am. What are you jealous of me for? I rode up to talk business, right? Or you rode up to talk about, you speaking, or you have a speaking engagement, and then
Mm.
you crush the actual speech. You garner everybody's attention.
Right.
And now all of a sudden people are talking about you, edifying you, bringing you, elevating you. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
tell anything to the husband or to the wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is, because you stepped on stage, if you will, and you were that one. You was that dude. And then now everybody's like, oh. So when everybody start talking about you, now you start comparing notes. Well, I got a good job. I make six figures, and I'm articulate and I'm smart,
Right.
and I did this, and I was in the Army, or I was in the Marines or the Navy or the Coast Guard or whatever it is. And you start
Right.
stacking these chips, and I did this in school and I did that in school and I
Mhm.
got a master's, and the only thing I don't have is, I don't know, hair or something, right? You cut your hair off, whatever it may be. You're doing all of these stackings and stackings and stackings and stackings, and you doing all of that stuff. And me, I don't even know you. I don't
Wow.
even know. I don't even have a clue who you are. But all of
Right.
a sudden you got an attitude to me. Wait, what did I do? Did I remind you of what you should be? Did I
Mm.
remind you you should be intimate? Did I remind you you should be connected to your wife? Did I
Yeah.
remind you you should sit down with your wife and converse with her at a level that is above foolishness and surface? Am I the one that you should be connecting with your wife at a level that's higher than the next level? Or am
Yeah.
I the one that's sitting there talking to your man and reminding him how he should be? Am I the
Yeah.
one that's doing that? And now that you see that, and like to say, a hit dog on a holler, go ahead on and scream. It's okay, because I'm in a position now. I'm not here any longer like to be apologetic, Kim. right? We said this, you and I, we talked about this. We're not no longer being apologetics for how great we are. You know,
Right.
sometimes people look at us and say, oh, you know, and we try to dumb ourselves down to come to their level to make them comfortable. Bullshit. I'm not doing that anymore. Nah, we coming. We, how they say it? We coming. We coming. Because think about what you're saying. All of these people in these relationships, these mental relations, intimate relationships, right? They're getting married and they're getting divorced. They're getting married and getting divorced. I'll be the first to raise my hand. I was nowhere near ready to get married, right? I understand that now. You do things to try everything you can to put things where it's supposed to be. I get that. I get we make mistakes, but once you know better, you do better. How many
Right.
people don't want to do better? How many people are unwilling to do better?
Hmm. Yeah, you got to make those adjustments. And going back to what you just said, I need to ask one little question.
Okay, let me give you one little answer.
Why not just say that? Why not just
Pride.
why not just say, you know, I'm uncomfortable with this. I don't know why I'm uncomfortable with this. I feel a little jealous about this. Why not make that a point of communication instead of being angry, attacking, and dismantling everything, that your significant other is trying to build and become?
It's called pride, right? Pride comes before the fall. So you have all of this, like I'm gonna use that same thing. Stanley, I'm making six figures. Stanley, I'm healthy. Stanley, I do this at my job. Stanley, I'm a supervisor, a manager, a director, a VP, or whatever, a president. I'm doing all of this. And yet my husband or yet my wife is conversing with this person and don't want to give me attention. No, have you looked at it differently? Have you looked at it, your wife or your husband been screaming for your attention and you have been not paying attention to them? And now all of a sudden they're growing, right? And they haven't done anything wrong. They're growing, but you're frustrated because now someone else is helping them grow, whether it's male or female. And now you're sitting there and now your mind, my mentor talk about your mind, once your mind is expanded and never go back to its original shape, form, right? So now somebody spoke into that person, and now that person is starting to grow, male or female, starting to grow, starting to elevate it, starting to get higher and higher. Come home and shares with the husband or the wife. Share the details, share the wisdom, share the knowledge, talk about it. But the significant other or the spouse is sitting there with their arms folded. I don't want to hear none of that. I'm not doing any of that. I don't want to hear about any of that. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to I don't want to hear it.
Only thing that they want to talk about is them and their world. And that's
all.
Been there,
That's
done
all.
that.
Because then they become selfish. Because now it's all about them. And then now all of a sudden, here's another red flag. They revert it or they mix it up to make it be your fault.
Yeah. They gaslight you.
Quick. They do all of that, right? Flag on the play. They do all of that stuff because now they feel insecure. They feel insecure because this man or this woman came, right? Let's think about this, Kim. We were there. You're a business owner. You're multiple times. You're in politics. You sit on boards. You do all of that stuff. You're in ministry. You're doing all of that stuff. So you're mentoring somebody, right? You're elevating them. Then all of a sudden, the male or the female on the other end is like, well, why are you still with her? Why are you doing this?
Right.
Well, let me make sure I get this right. I'm being mentored by somebody that's a business owner several times over, that's in politics, and that sit on multiple boards, that's in ministry. Why would I not want to be mentored by somebody at that caliber or that status, right?
Right.
And then they're like, no, I think
that's the way you are.
Yeah, that's the problem, because nothing can live in stagnant water.
And everything in you is wanting to is trying to grow. You feel it on the inside.
That's right.
Connected to the wrong person, and I know we got to wrap this up or whatever, but when you're connected to the wrong person and you got this all of a sudden this urgency, this thing on the inside that's trying to come up and come out, if you don't take the time to do the homework and make sure you're connected to the right one, when it's gonna be a red flag, a blue flag, it's gonna be so many flags, it's gonna be the whole rainbow of flags. wrong in that relationship because you did not take time out to recognize first who you are, what direction you're heading in. And I'm in this waiting season right now, Stanley. Even though I want to be married to 20 plus years ago, I wanted to be married. All my friends were, everybody was married. So I was like, I got to get married. So when this gentleman came along, met him in July, got engaged in August and married in December, because I wanted it. I ignored every red flag.
All of them.
Every one of them. And there it was. It was 19 years of just, and that's not saying when we have these conversations, I need to put this out there. We're not trying to paint a picture that these other people were horrible, that they're bad people, right. We wasn't meant to be together. And, we wanted to call it God, but no, it was my wanting to be married. It was my wanting to, not be out here just having sex randomly with all these different people. It was wanting to, build this I wanted a Cosby Show marriage. I know I'm dating but I wanted that Cosby Show experience. And so I was like, oh man, this is a preacher. What could go wrong?
That's right. But when you don't marry the right one. Oh, here's the other part. Here, we wrapping up. Let me just say this. You jump out of one marriage and jump into another marriage.
Trouble.
Because the other one is a little opposite or just different, the different person. But yet it's still the same, it's some of the same challenges, whatever it may be, right? Don't do that. That's a red flag for your own self.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It's a familiar spirit. You think it just dresses up differently. I almost did the same thing again, Stanley. I almost walked right back into the same exact thing, but it was just
I get it. Okay, Kim, did you go out? All right, I don't know what happened. Kim was just on fire just now. So family, listen, I don't know what happened to Kim. We're gonna come back again. I don't know what we're gonna talk about next time, but it seems like me and Kim have this amazing opportunity to share with everybody where we are, what we're doing, and how we're doing it. I don't know what happened to our feed or what happened and why it went out, what it could have did or whatever, but it's just whatever it is. So listen, guys, I can't explain to you guys how much I appreciate you guys for this topic. When you talk about all kind of red flags, I mean, we really talk about red flags, and we're not even finished. We're literally not finished. So listen, I appreciate you guys so much on everything that we're doing. Kim lost our feed. We're going to close out. I don't know if she's coming back or not, but we're closing out. We're going to do some incredible things, some powerful things. We're going to make some things happen in a massive way. Look like your camera then tilted or something. There you go. Yeah, there you go. But listen, I know you was on fire. We got to close out. That ain't cool.
I guess the Lord said, no, we ain't going there today.
Yeah. So listen, we're going to come back and do another one. I promise. We're going to do another podcast. Kim and I, we're going to figure out something. We're going to do something. I promise you, we are coming back. So family, listen, again, like Kim said, we're not here to talk about and say the person was bad, that either we married or you married and you got divorced. It's not what we're saying. It was just not the person for us. Right. I say this wholeheartedly. Some people call it soulmates. Some people call them fires. Some people call them different things. Whatever it is, there's somebody that's out there that's a perfect fit for you. Fits perfectly. When you laying on the sofa, they fit under you perfectly. They fit connected to you perfectly, right? There's somebody that's out there that knows how to finish the end of your sentences. There's somebody that's out there know how to feel you without y'all being in the same space, same environment, same state, same whatever. They can feel you. There's somebody that's out there that know you so intimately that when you speak, They hear you wherever they are in the world. There are people that's going to fit you that is so connected to you that you guys walk and you can order their food without even asking how they feel. There's somebody that's so connected to you that when you sit down for dinner, you order their drink and they don't even know what they want to drink. See, family, there's somebody that's out there for you. We talked about red flags, but I want to end on a positive note and say there are people that's there that's so connected to you and so spiritually entwined with you that when you go into certain spaces, they elevate you, they hold your wings up. Or when they go in certain places, you hold their wings up. See, that's what we're talking about when you talk about intimacy at the ultimate level. It's not sex, but it's that intimacy. When you go into your spiritual place, they know how to hold you up. You know how to hold them up. When you go into your psychological space, you know how to hold them up. They know how to hold you up. When you start philosophizing about different things that maybe not in everybody's attention, but they know how to hold you up. See, there are people that's there that's willing to rise with you. That's
Yes.
perfectly fit with you and going to put you in a space to where you feel that there's nothing else. See, when you sit down in an energy or you sit down in a business meeting or an environment and you're sitting and conversing with that person, Kim, that fits you, fits you, that's you on the opposite end, or that mirrors you, and you're so connected where when they talk about it feels like nobody else is in the room, that's that level of love and intimacy and energy that most people are talking about. There's another level of being in love, folks, and most people haven't received it. But for those that know what it is, those that know who they are, those that have been in that space understand intimately how powerful that is. So listen, I know we talked a lot about red flags, but I wanted to leave you guys with this. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. But make sure you're doing your homework, as Kim said. Before we close out, Kim, you got a wine for everybody?
Hey, just listen, brother, sister, don't settle. Don't settle. All right? Don't settle. If it feels awkward, I mean, I'm about to 19 awkwardness. Okay. If that whole thing you said just then, it is real. So don't settle.
Don't settle. As one of my friends would say, trust your gut.
Yeah.
Trust your gut. You know what it is. Trust your gut.
You know
what it is.
You recognize it. You and the Lord has a way of sending people in your path to say, anyway, I know. Don't settle.
Don't settle.
Don't red flags and don't settle. And this is the only family member that you have the power to choose.
The only family member you have the power to choose. Wine, Kim, can I get a wine?
Wine.
Oh my God. We're gonna work on that.
Right. We're gonna have to talk after the show.
Yeah.
What exactly do you want there?
It's so good.
Wow. Oh no.
Listen, remember, that's the only family member you have the opportunity to select. Remember that. Don't settle. Trust your gut. And know that there's somebody that fits you perfectly. With that being said, family, let's get out of here. Go to YouTube. Go to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. Look at it on YouTube. Join us. Follow us. We have a lot of fun. When I tell you guys, we got more to come. We got more to come. So guess what, guys? We're going to see you guys on the beaches of the world. I hope this was empowering and it blessed you to another level. I love you guys. God bless. See you guys on the beaches of the world. Wow. Let's Talk with Stanley. There she go. Yeah. See you guys later. God bless. And we'll talk soon. See y'all next week. Blessings.
Peace.